Charles Lamb, he has been called as the Prince of English, as Francis Bacon has been called the father of English essays. So Charles Lamb, he was called as the Prince of English essays. He was born in 1775 on February in London, and he died in 1834. Charles Lamb was born in London on February 10th, 1775. In the crowded city of London, there was an ancient building named Temple, which was a crowded one. Later on, this building was shifted into official building and a lodging of London lawyers. So the Temple, it was the birthplace of Charles Lamb. Okay, Charles Lamb, he took birth where? That is in this ancient building. Name of this building was Temple. Now the 7 years of Charles Lamb's childhood passed in this building in Temple. The father of Charles Lamb was a confidential clerk, or we can say that he was a servant to a lawyer. Charles Lamb was the youngest of 7 children. Okay, he was the youngest. And how many brother and sister there were? 7, of whom only 3 survived. John Lamb, right? And how many survived? Only 3. Charles Lamb, he was the youngest. John Lamb, his elder brother, and his sister Mary Lamb. So John Lamb, Mary Lamb, and Charles Lamb. John Lamb, his elder brother, he was a selfish person, and we also find the same thing in his essays. He was a selfish person and he did not take part in the sufferings of brother and sister. John Lamb never took any kind of responsibility of his sister or of the family. Even he started to live out of the house. At the age of 7, Charles Lamb was sent to a charity school, and the name of that charity school was Christ's Hospital. And there Charles Lamb lived for 7 years when he was only 7 years old. And at the age of 14, he got the job of a clerk, right? He was hardly 14 years old when he started to work as a clerk. So he got the job of a clerk, and where? In South Sea House. We also find the name of this South Sea House in his essays of Ilya. South Sea House. There he worked as a clerk. After 2 years, he became a clerk in India House, right? In India House, and there he worked for 33 years. For 33 years, with the exception of 6 weeks, which were spent in the asylum. In the asylum, because there was a madness in the home of Charles Lamb. His mother was also suffering. He himself was also suffering from the fit of madness, and even his sister, Mary Lamb, she was also suffering from the fit of madness. So the 6 weeks were spent in the lunatic asylum by Charles Lamb. So his sister Mary Lamb, she was also of extraordinary talent she had, but she was also the patient of the fitness of madness, of this insanity. Now Charles Lamb himself had been the patient of insanity, and his sister Mary Lamb, she was also, though she was very talented, but in spite of that she had been a patient of madness, of insanity. And In the fit of madness, in the fit of insanity, one day she killed her own mother. Mary Lamb, the sister of Charles Lamb, she killed her own mother in the fit of insanity, in the fit of madness. And now it was the responsibility of John Lamb to look after her, to care her, but he left the house, and now Charles Lamb, he took all the responsibility of his sister Mary Lamb. He looked after her with softness, with love, with devotion, with tenderness. And now Charles Lamb, he got pension from India House where he worked for 33 years. So he got pension and he retired to a literary career. He died in Edmonton in 1800, 1834, leaving his sister behind in the tragic situation. So he was the youngest, but he died fast. Lamb's works are very famous, especially his essays of Ilya. In 1796, he wrote poem on various subjects. Rosamund Gray in 1798, John Woodville in 1802, Tales from Shakespeare, very famous work of Charles Lamb, Tales from Shakespeare in 1807. And then that is specimens of English dramatic poets contemporary with Shakespeare. He also wrote very famous essays for London Magazine, Christ's Hospital, Desertion of Roast Pig, Old China, and Poor Relations. Poor Relation, we find all these kinds of essays in the collection of essays of Ilya. Ilya, which Ilya was actually his pseudonym. He wrote or he published his essay under this pseudonym Ilya. Poor Relations, South Sea House, Imperfect Sympathies, a chapter on years, Mockery, and Dream Children. Okay, Dream Children are Reverie. It is also a very well known essay of Charles Lamb. Grace Before Meat and Praise of Chimney Sweepers. Another very popular essay, Praise of Chimney Sweepers. So all these were the works of Charles Lamb, and this was a short biography of or a short description of his life. So Charles Lamb was a romantic essayist, and he has been called a prince of English essays.